Hey there, Magic Geeks! I'm Sofiia Wycisk. I'm a technical marketer. You might have seen me on YouTube because I'm also a content creator. And today I will have an unusual role. I will be your GA4 shrink. Yeah, I know that many people are struggling with GA4, and this is why I decided to create this video. And not all technical presentations have to be boring. And this is why I included one fun fact about myself. So in my free time, I love traveling with my Shiba Inu. And the funny thing is that I bought him for a profit I made out of $2 I invested in Dogecoin for fun. And I wish that this would be at least 200, but whatever. But what am I saying is that I learned a lesson. So there are things in your life that you would have changed, but you simply did not know. At the same time, something could have been done right. And this is exactly investing in education, starting to learn GA4 in advance. And I know that the change is really hard, and now universal analytics is sunset, and people don't really like being told what to do and being given no choice in a way, but all of us have to deal with it because change can be really unpredictable and it can be really hard. And of course, I also freaked out when I saw that notification, and I'm pretty sure most of people felt the same way. Yeah, and now many marketers are ranting and raving about this change because it was, yeah, you can agree, an abrupt decision. We were given no choice. A choice was made for us. And if you are working with Google Analytics, so you have to learn GA4 from scratch because it's a completely different tool, and this is why you should invest in education. So we do care about people at Magic School, and we are doing our best to make this transition as smooth as possible. And this is why I am recording this video for you. And I have to say that it is really inspiring for me to work with people from different fields of marketing because they make me look at things from a different perspective. And I got this vision. Yes, so I wanted to focus on PPC marketers specifically in this one because I see how they are struggling. And I will be focusing mainly on Google ecosystem in my today's video. So dealing with the UA sunset can be compared to dealing with a loss. So I went through all the loss stages myself, and maybe I'm still dealing with it. And tell me in the comments section, what stage are you right now? And the first one, can you guess it? The first one is denial. Many PPC marketers resist the change, and they think that they can simply ignore it and just use GA4 somehow because they think that it works exactly the same way as Universal Analytics did. Then they move to the second stage, which is anger. As they start understanding the differences between Universal Analytics and GA4, they feel frustrated and even overwhelmed by those changes. Then comes the next stage, which is bargaining. So in an attempt to avoid this situation, they just keep thinking about the benefits of Universal Analytics. They keep comparing and they say how much they hate GA4. So maybe they can deal with it somehow. But of course, the change is inevitable and you have to move forward. Then comes the next one, which is depression. Yeah, so you can see all the news, all the tweets and posts about GA4. And when you delve into working with it, the reporting interface, the new features, it looks so similar, yet it is completely different. And you might feel overwhelmed and think that you will never be able to understand it. So what is the next step? Sit back on my couch and tell me what bothers you about GA4, and you can write it in the comment section too. So I had a PPC marketer in one of our boot camps, and this is fully based on a true story. I will not reveal the name because no PII here, but I want to show you our dialogue. The marketer was very unhappy about GA4, so we tried to talk about the benefits of using this tool. The upset marketer tells me, what about my UTM parameters? As we transition to GA4, it's crucial to ensure that our UTM parameters are accurately set up. Moreover, GA4 offers way more channels granularity, so this is a benefit. If you check the Google documentation, you can see a great number of traffic sources with the new fixed channel groupings and their conditions, and you also have the option to create custom channel groups with your own rule-based categories of web traffic sources, which is great. In good old universal analytics, we had a set of UTM parameters, right? Source, medium, campaign term, and content. And their main goal was to identify the source and campaign in order to understand how users landed at your website. Whereas GA4 offers more UTM parameters than universal analytics, which gives you more granularity, more control, and more customization when it comes to the data you collect. So in this way, we can track some additional information about our campaigns. Yeah, for example, source platform. This parameter tells us about the platform that sent the traffic to our website. Yes, so we have also creative format. And the name suggests this parameter helps to understand what type of creative you're using. Also, marketing tactic. So this is more about how you've done your targeting, for example, remarketing, prospecting, etc. You can also use it for other information like bidding strategies, more details on audiences, etc. And by utilizing those, you can make better informed decisions on how to optimize your campaigns and generate more conversions. Talking about conversions, the marketer says, the conversion tracking is so confusing in GA4. Well, I think this is actually one of the greatest advantages in GA4 because the tracking is definitely improved. And I chose this GIF because I think that it shows the process itself because it was also simplified. So let me navigate to the tool directly. So here, if I go to events, I have a list of my events. In order to create a conversion, you simply have to turn your event into a conversion by toggling the button right here, and this is it. That's all. So you have to make sure that your events are set up correctly, and then you can mark those as conversions. Pretty straightforward. But this is not all. We also have enhanced measurement. You remember when we create a new stream, this is where you can activate the enhanced measurement. And this is how GA4 can track some events auto-magically. So they come together with a snippet of code and you just have to enable it. And here we have, for example, scrolls, outbound clicks, site search, video engagement, etc. So by having those, you can already start collecting some data and understand how users are interacting with your website, and you can view it as a baseline of tracking. So let's say you don't know how to set up tracking at all, but in this way, you can gather some data without asking the developer for help. Moreover, you can now also configure events in the tool directly. So you don't have to run back and forth to the developer and ask for help again. So let's say your developer is not available, but you would love to track the contact page, just as an example. So I can go to my events, and this is where I have this create event feature, and I can configure my event directly here. So let me show you the contact page, just as an example. This is my website, and here I have contact us, and I want to track it as a conversion, just an example. I can go to my analytics and I can say, this is my contact page view, because I activated page views, right? It comes together with the enhanced measurement. And now I can filter the page view event by specifying the condition. So I say right now, event name equals page view. So this is the one that is tracked automatically, but I want to create a new event with a specific filter, and I can say page location contains contact. And this is how you create a new event directly within the interface. So I think this is an interesting feature. Also, what are other advantages? So now Google was really generous and we can create 30 conversions per property, excluding default conversions like purchase. I'm also talking about the free GA4 version, right? Because the limit is higher for GA4 360. Another change is that you can select the count method for your conversions. So here, if I go to conversions, I click 3 dots and we have change counting method. And you can choose the one that is more suitable for your case, either once per event or once per session. Whereas in Universal Analytics, only one conversion per session for each goal was counted. So if a user submits a form twice, let's say, it will be counted only as one conversion. But you can also play with it. Additionally, GA4 has an event-driven schema, which makes the tracking more flexible. And why do you need conversions? Because in this way, you can make your bidding decisions to help optimize your campaigns for better performance. You can also combine your conversion data with data from different advertising channels. And moreover, this is an interesting one, you can create audiences of users who did not convert in order to re-engage them and to gain some valuable insights too. So utilizing conversion tracking can definitely improve your strategy. And this is one of the greatest features of GA4 because I think it is way better than it used to be in Universal Analytics. Okay. And now it's the riddle time. Maybe you can guess the feature. We will discuss it in a moment. Maybe you have some thoughts already what this means. But talking about my marketer, the marketer says, my client wants me to use analytics data for targeting. Well, this is brilliant because Audience Builder in GA4 is really powerful, and I created a separate video of how I configure threading audiences in GA4, so you might want to watch it. And this is a great benefit. Yeah, because you can use GA4 audiences, but what is the benefit of using those? Well, we have the dynamic evaluation. You can also get an understanding about the audience size in real time. You have complex configuration conditions that are actually missing in Google Ads, and you can use different dimensions metrics on top of events to form practically any subset of users that gives you so many possibilities. And moreover, another great improvement is that audiences are automatically shared once you link the accounts. And they are also dynamically updated the whole time, so you don't have to do it manually anymore for each single audience. And this is a great improvement. So let me go back to GA4. We can create audiences in 2 different ways. So you can go to audiences in the admin section and configure them right here, or you can also create audiences using the segment builder in explorations. So you can turn your segments into audiences. Another interesting thing that we have here is that analytics provides a number of pre-configured audiences that you can use or modify if necessary, aligned to the chosen business category and recommended events. So how does it work? Let me show you. This is actually interesting. So here, when you go to your property settings, for now, my industry category is shopping. So if I go to explore, and I will create just freeform as an example. Here, if I go to segments, you can see some references. So pre-built audience suggestions for you. And we have different categories, and one of them is shopping, where we have basket abandoners, wishlist users, and so on. And of course, you must have your recommended events implemented, because otherwise this would not work without those recommended events. It's just a remark for you. Okay, so we have shopping. What happens if I go to admin and I can go again to my property settings? And instead of shopping, I would select jobs and education. I will click save. So what happens now if I go back to explore and I will go back to my free form? And here, if I want to create a segment, now I have jobs and education. and we would have different suggested audiences, right? So here, tutorial abandoners, tutorial finishers, and so on. So this is adjusted to the business category that you select in your settings. As you can see, this is the second way of creating audiences. So you can use the segment builder in explorations, because in this way, you can have a look at different subsets of data before turning them into an actual audience. And now I'm switching to my demo account, and here I will also click freeform. And let's say I want to create an audience of people who added a product to cart within the last 7 days. So I can say add to cart, and then I can say event count more than 0. And I can specify the time period within the last 7 days. And let's click apply. And at the same time, I want to exclude users who purchase the product, because this is the audience that I would use for targeting. So I would add a condition to exclude users when, and I can say purchase, also event count more than 0 within the last 7 days. So this is exactly the audience of people who added a product to cart yet did not purchase it. So I can then click here, build an audience, and an audience will be created for you. So this is how you can also have a look at the data right here and play with it. All right, but this is not all that you can use working with the audience builder in GA4, because here we also have machine learning. And this is definitely a step forward because the data is powered by machine learning. So you know that Google has been heavily investing in it. And what can you do with it? So how can you utilize it? You can enrich your data and you can kind of predict the future behavior of your users. For example, you could identify users with a high purchase probability. Sounds pretty cool. For example, I could create an audience who viewed my item within the last few days several times, but they are likely to churn. Yes, this is doable. So let's say view item. You already know how to configure this one. Let's say event count more than 3 within the last 7 days. Yes. So these are my users who are showing interest in buying my products, but at the same time, they are likely to churn. So we have something called churn probability. This is predictive metric, and we can say most likely to churn. So this is the one that I would love to use. And let's hit apply. And this is the audience that you could also use. So you can turn this segment into an audience and use it in Google Ads. So just think about the most successful audience which has not taken your desired conversion action yet. With all those features of the audience builder, you can create a perfect target audience you would love to deliver your ads to. Okay, let me go back to my marketer with his questions. The marketer feels a bit better, and then he says, my client does not have a clear conversion action. Well, do you remember the gift that I showed you in the beginning? This is exactly the answer. So, do you remember also the audiences that we set up together? And what if I told you that you could turn those into conversions? Yes, this is doable, and this is another great improvement in GA4 that is called audience triggers. And this is something completely new, and it was never available before. This one allows you to fire conversion events based on your audiences. So in other words, you can turn your audience into a conversion. Let me show you. You can do it right here. If I click build an audience, I can also add an audience trigger, and you provide the event name, just any, and you can save it, and it will behave as any other event. How does it work technically? You can trigger events when users reach some key milestones. For example, initiating a certain number of sessions, or reading a certain number of articles, or maybe booking the hotel several times. And of course, you can analyze those in your reports, and you can even mark them as conversions at any other normal event. So another example, I would say triggering a conversion when your clients become your regular customers. So you can define those people. So as an example, let's do it together. So I could say people who purchase from me more than 3 times. Yeah, so this is how I can define my regulars. And then we can turn this segment into an audience, right? And we can also create a conversion. How is it helpful? You can experiment with your conversion volume-based strategies with conversion actions from audience triggers. And as you can see, you can provide really specific conditions here. Awesome! I think I saw a smile on the face of the marketer after showing him this feature, and now he says, my client has 10 different funnels and wants to retarget every step. So that we are on the same page. What is a funnel? These are the steps your users take to complete a task on a way to a specific conversion. And with the help of funnels, you can optimize inefficient or abandoned customer journeys. So you can understand how people are succeeding or failing in each step. And this can help you answer some questions. For example, how can I improve the abandoned customer journey? So what could be the reason my clients do not want to buy products, let's say? So this is what you can analyze with the help of funnels. So it's also about conversion optimization process. You can identify the weak points. So where can we put our attention and get the most results if we improve it? Maybe if you see that people are leaving at the add to cart step, testimonial is missing, or we need a social proof, or we have to improve the product images, we have to get rid of all bugs and glitches, we have to make our website mobile responsive, right? So these are the actions that you would have to take, and the GA4 funnels can lead you to those valuable insights. And let me quickly show you how it works. I will go to Explore and select Funnel Exploration. I will not build a funnel. If you want to learn how to build a custom funnel, we have a separate video about it, which can be helpful. So I will use the one that is predefined here. And the cool thing also that if you do the right click, you can also create a segment of the users at this specific step, and then you can deliver your ads to those people, because any segment can be turned into an audience. And this is pretty fascinating. Does it mean acceptance? What do you think? So I showed you just a few ways how you can utilize GA4 features as a PPC specialist. And I hope this also helped you to understand this tool a bit better, but you should also be ready because there are many more updates coming, and you can see that this tool is still under heavy development, so we can see new releases almost every week. But it is what it is. This is our reality right now. And just to sum up, again, you can have more granularity and customization with UTM parameters. We have improved conversion tracking, also the powerful audience builder, as well as machine learning. An audience trigger, another great feature, and you can gain more insights with the help of improved funnels. So it's time to act. Either you want to switch to an alternative or to continue working with GA4, it's your choice. And you have to invest in your education. And yeah, this is what it is. And I think that we are all in the same boat because I also had to learn this tool from scratch. And to be honest, I was avoiding it in the beginning for a very long time. And now I regret it. If you want to learn more about GA4, about measurement in general, I would be happy to have you on my couch and conduct another therapy session. Or if you have any questions, you can also write them in the comment sections. And I'm really grateful for your attention. And by the way, please do not forget to like this video and please subscribe to this channel because we want to share the knowledge with the community. Happy measuring, guys. See you next time. Bye.